A lot of times, goals and resolutions are about making splash, achieving a definite outcome to reach the mountain top to say. And many times, what we miss is developing strategies and ways to make incremental progress and develop systems that, if we were to follow, will make the achievement of goal almost inevitable. But if we don't focus on the processes and habits and incremental progress, the eventual success remains in doubt. Hello there, this is Yogi. I am a coach based in Bay Area who loves to help executives and technical folks alike to build trust in themselves, build deeper relationships, and really keep focus in what matters most to people. Today, I want to talk about a topic that comes often in my coaching conversation: how to keep our resolutions, how to develop strategies for lasting engagement and lasting progress. I have been a bit sick for the last few days, so please excuse my voice. I gave this workshop to a group of engaged people a little while ago. I will share this with a larger audience, and I'll share this with you too. So let's dive into the topic of how to keep our New Year resolutions or any other kinds of resolutions, and how to make lasting engagement and progress on them. Before we get started, it will be very helpful for you to have a goal or a resolution in mind that you want to make progress on, that you want to achieve, and you can pass that goal or resolution through the process we are going to talk about today. For me, that goal was to reach to at least 10,000 people this year, so that I can add meaningful value to their life through my content, through my email list, through my videos, and so on and so forth. So before you continue, take a moment, maybe pause the video for 30 seconds and think of one goal that you would like to make significant dent. I also made a video last week about how to set goals that are empowering, so feel free to watch that video also. In this video, I want to talk about 3 ways you can make your resolutions come alive. The first way is having constant engagement with your goals and resolutions. The second main point I want to convey today is building habits for incremental progress. And the third main point is that of improving your state of mind, letting go of the baggage of the past, how you've not been able to achieve things in the past, and how that holds you back. Let's go to the first point of constant engagement. When we talk about constant engagement, we are talking about daily, sometimes even more than once a day engagement with your goals. It can be through writing, it can be through speaking, it can be through socializing, it can be through daily reviewing your goal, and it can be through having a vision board and looking at your goals on a daily basis. A lot of times people wonder, what's the use of all that? And the main use of all that is to develop this awareness of what's really important for us. We think our goals are important for us, but our mind is not used to treating that as important. Our reticular activation system in our brain is the one that filters out non-important information, and only the important information we become aware of over time. That's why in a party, you might phase out a lot of noise, but your name comes to your conscious awareness right away. And as we spend more time and repetitions on reviewing, speaking, reading, reviewing your goals, the more the relevant information from our environment we will become aware of. And that kind of engagement you can do on a daily basis. But I even find it more powerful to have one lock-in goal for the year and engage with that goal even more often. For example, one goal for me this year is being done by 1 o'clock with the essential work I do, so I can focus more time on content creation and bigger outreach to larger audience. So I engage with this goal about how can I be done by 1. And right now, sometimes my mind says, there's no way you can be done by 1. But over time, more and more ideas are popping up. I don't need ideas to come every day, but once in a while, a good idea comes to my mind, I implement it, and that really shows me a bit of a path towards being done by 1. When you have a lock-in goal, it's also helpful to ask your subconscious, how can I achieve this goal? How can I be done by 1? One way to do this without much of a time commitment is to do this at the end of your day. Just before sleeping, have a journal. Ask in the journal, how can I achieve this goal? How can I be done with this? And then you can write some thoughts or just sleep over that thought. And early in the morning, write again stream of consciousness. Sometimes I've had some powerful ideas come this way to me. But it's important to have constant engagement, to have a lock-in goal for that. You don't want to ask your subconscious too many things. You want to keep focused. When you are doing constant engagement, it can also be very demotivating to not see progress. That's why having some visual or any sensory tool which can show you the progress is very helpful. I love the comedian Jerry Seinfeld's idea of don't break the chain. When he was starting out on the comedy scene in New York City, he just started with committing to writing just one joke a day. And every time he would write a joke, he would put a cross on the calendar, cross on the calendar, cross on the calendar. And this way he built a chain. And his idea was not to break the chain. Just putting a cross on the paper can give us that sense of accomplishment which helps us keep going. So we want to have a constant engagement, but also see some progress, not maybe towards the goal itself, but towards the process at least. There was a time period of about 6 months in my life in 2021 where I engaged with my life goals every morning, every evening for a couple minutes every time. And that was a time of amazing clarity. In just 6 months, couple times a day, I was able to get deeper into what I'm really looking for in life, not just what my top level cursory part of the brain is looking for because I'm conditioned by society and such. So the one thing you can do to keep your resolution is to develop a way to constantly engage with your goals and with your resolutions. The second point I want to bring to your attention is that of developing habits for incremental progress. A lot of times goals and resolutions are about making splash, achieving a definite outcome to reach the mountaintop to say. And many times what we miss is developing strategies and ways to make incremental progress and develop systems that if we were to follow will make the achievement of goal almost inevitable. But if we don't focus on the processes and habits and incremental progress, the eventual success remains in doubt. And one way to think of the right habits to develop for incremental progress is to focus on what you can do. For example, for me, having 10,000 subscribers on my email list is not something that I can control. What I can control is improve the quality of my writing by being more conscious, reaching out to my coach or a friend who can help me improve my writing. All those things I can do, but I cannot control the 10,000 subscribers. I think it's harder. Even the writing part is different for different people, but for me, writing a newsletter a week is hard to control for me. But what I can do for me is writing 15 minutes of crap content, not having any quality control, but write something. And then in a week or two, I end up generating some good ideas through editing and help from people. So that's what I do focus on in terms of habits. And when you are thinking of habits, it's also important to think of the blockers in implementing those habits. I'm working with a coaching client who really wants to find a new job, and we are working through developing habits to prepare for interviews. And one of the things we started with was 30 minutes of lead code. But that we soon realized how hard it is to implement. We went from there to 10 minutes. From there, we went to 5 minutes because it was hard for them with the current lifestyle. Eventually, we figured out a way to do 5 minutes of preparation every day, despite everything else happening in their life, despite the kid being sick, despite having a busy day at work. And once they are able to do 5 minutes of work towards what really mattered to them, they are starting to get motivation to do more and more of that. Also, when we are developing habits, if we give us a lot of choices, it becomes hard for us to actually execute one of the three options because we run into decision fatigue. When we are developing habit, it's good to have just one choice and do that. 5 minutes of lead code. That's it. Or 15 minutes of writing whatever comes to my mind. And moreover, although it's counterintuitive, it is much easier to develop a habit that you do 7 days a week than 5 days a week. It seems easier to take a couple of days off, but that makes it hard to keep going come Monday. So we want to develop habits that you can do 7 days a week. What you do during that time can change. For example, if you're working out every day, let's say for 15 minutes, some days you might do stretching, some days you might just walk, some days you might do running, other days you might do weight training. So there's variety there, but the habit itself is every day of the week. And when you are working on the habits, you also want to think about what time of the day is optimal for you to execute on that habit. For example, the client I was talking about, he realized that leaving the coding to 10:30 p.m. at night is a recipe for failure, because sometimes he falls asleep. So we shifted the time to morning so he's able to start working on it right away and doesn't miss his days anymore. One good thing about setting the habits for incremental progress is even if you don't achieve the final goal that you have set yourself for, you will most likely love the person you have become in the process. For example, even if I don't get to having 10,000 subscribers and my content reaching to 10,000 people, I'm very sure if I can write more and make more videos and create more content and add more value, I would love who I have become in the process, even though I might have only 5,000 subscribers or 8,000 subscribers. So you want to set up your goals and habits in a way that either way the outcome goes, because you can't control every single outcome, you win either way, because you have developed a strong character, you develop good habits, and you become a person that you love seeing in the mirror. And the third and the final point I want to mention is that of the state of mind and letting go of the baggage of the past. A lot of times when I work with people, they have been so jaded and they are so fearful of failure. They have failed so many times in the past that it's hard for them to even be in a positive, empowering state of mind. I used to be like that. I've achieved a lot of things in my life, but a lot of times I focused only on the things I did not achieve, the failures I did have, and that made it hard for me to set my eyes on what I really wanted to achieve. I would compromise even before I would set the goal. One counterintuitive thing in achieving goals when it comes to state of mind is letting go of the goal. Not really being too attached to the goal, but being committed to the process of achieving the goal, not the goal itself. And also, when the negative emotions do come, when you do feel frustrated, when you do feel disappointed, when you do feel defeated, being present with those emotions and not avoiding them, not being distracted by them, that's an important piece of developing a state of mind where we are not putting a happy facade, happy face over a disappointed state of mind, but we are really being centered from the inside out. And when we are centered, we can actually learn from our mistakes better. If we are not in a good state of mind, a lot of times we keep mulling over our mistakes. But when we are feeling empowered, we can look at the mistake, learn a thing or two that we can do, and actually implement those things and move on. That's what we want to do in a good state of mind. And at the end of the day, it is also very powerful to embrace failure. If and when the failure does come to us, not being devastated by that, but cherishing on the progress we have made, and then setting our goals and recommitting to our resolutions so we continue to make progress. Handling failures well is a big part of an empowered state of mind. And now I want to invite you to think of your goal, the one goal that we talked about in the very beginning, and see how you can develop a constant engagement around that goal on a daily basis at least, if not more than once a day. Then think of a habit you can develop for incremental progress towards that goal. Not just visualizing, but actually a small progress. Could be 5 minutes a day, could be 1 minute a day, could be as little as you want, but a non-zero number nonetheless. Small progress, when compounded, can really become huge over the course of a year. And finally, evaluate your state of mind. Can you let go of that goal? Can you focus on the process and not just the goal? Can you accept the failure? If you're able to let go in that way, your chances of success become much higher than otherwise. I want to end this video with a quick personal story of how constant engagement and small progress really helped me achieve some goals in the past. I remember last year, my lock-in goal was to have a sustainable business. After having plateaued in my business for 2-3 years, I was really wanting to bring my business to next level. And the specific number I had in mind was I want to make 200K in the year. And I had no idea how that will happen. And that's where the constant engagement started to happen for me. I started to speak it, to write about it, to end my day writing that. How do I make 200K a year? Until June, July, August, I saw no path at all. And after that, a few things fell in place that elevated my business to the next level. I ended up surpassing that goal by a decent chunk. And one of the realizations that I've shared in my newsletter was that I was holding myself back. I did not need to make the money. Some level, my results reflected that. And once I was able to clarify what my business stands for, how I want to build community, to serve people and focus on that, things started to fall in place. So I highly recommend this idea of constant engagement and developing habits for incremental progress. And this is one story I shared. It has happened with me a couple times in the previous years also. So that is all for how to keep your resolution strong and how to make consistent progress on your goals. Once you do this process, I would invite you to keep up your commitment to your goals and resolutions, and also be adaptable in your approach to achieving those goals. And feel free to comment below in any way that you engaged with this video through your own goals. And if I can be of any help, feel free to ask any questions in the comment, and I will do my best to respond and help you. That is all for now. Until next time, take care.